everyone. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a latest epidemic that's kind of struck the world as an entirety. The NBC News actually reports that nearly 3/4 of American men and 60% of American women are either overweight or obese. Now, this just goes to point out that exercise and physical activity, it is critical for our well-being, our health, our lifestyles. This lack of physical activity affects every single person. Now, I have done a lot of research, and actually I have a lot of experience on my own roller coaster of lack of physical activity and vice versa. I'd actually like to talk a little bit about how little exercise that children and adults actually get these days, along with the benefits of exercise such as mental health, lack of stress, health, and overall mood. Now first, let's take a look at how being physically active the population is. People put the physical activity on the back burner these days. The American College of Sports Medicine Health and Fitness Journal actually reported that kids do not get enough physical activity during the day. Now this can lead to type 2 diabetes, higher blood pressure, cholesterol, actually affects even deeper into their children's muscle development, their bone development, and can have the long-term effect of course, helping the kids to become overweight adults, obese adults, and it's just feeding into that epidemic. Now, adults these days, we are also lazy. It's actually recommended that everyone gets at least 150 minutes of exercise each week. But that's clearly not happening. Actually, 5.3 million people out of the 57 million people who died 1 year, it was caused to lack of exercise, lack of physical activity, and just inactivity altogether. Now, these can include, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, breast cancer, colon cancer, things that derive from lack of activity. If we could simply reduce our laziness by 10%, we could avert 533,000 deaths each year. If we can increase our activity by 25%, we could avert 1.3 million deaths each year. Next, we need to look at certain factors that are essential to student life. We're students, and there's things that we need to improve. Physical activity can help change your brain for the better. There's lots of benefits that can go on in your head and help us to be better students. Mental health. How can exercise help us mentally? Well, there's lots of things. It can boost your creativity. So, you're gonna be able to think outside the box and do better on these exams or on these projects. It also can improve your memory. Now this is good for, it can improve your memory short term. Say, hey, I've got this test I need to study for. But also it can improve your memory long term, over a long span, a lifespan. So adults who exercise, when they become elderly, they actually have better memory because of their activity throughout their lifetime. Now, exercise also is it's a good way to avoid certain addictions. It will boost your productivity, which is essential for us students. We've got to be on top of things. We've got to find healthy ways to get things done. And what better way than to exercise? It's also a great way to relieve stress. A Princeton study actually did a test on some lab rats, and they had the lab rats be active for 6 weeks on a continuous schedule. Now, after that 6 weeks, they would put the rats under stress. Those rats had actually reconditioned their brain so well that they didn't even react as nearly as much as the rats who didn't undergo the exercise. They had reconditioned their brain enough to where they handled the stress totally different, were able to cope, and had better coping mechanisms. Exercise, it does put a lot of stress on you. I mean, you're pushing yourself constantly to run another mile or another lap or push one more weight, and that helps us build up a resistance to stress. So we're not going to react as irrationally as we may had we not basically built that wall, that foundation. And of course, it's a healthier habit to alleviate stress than other things. I mean, you've got alcohol or drugs or very negative things that people turn to when they're stressed out. And exercise, it's a much better alternative. It's healthy, and the benefits are endless. But lastly, I would like to talk to you about life beyond school. They're life-changing habits that could save lives. It can prevent diseases. So we can lower blood pressure, we can lower high blood sugar, and cholesterol, which all those things lead to heart disease. Exercise also helps digestion, and it prevents potentially cancer-causing waste from encouraging abnormal growths in the colon. Basically, prevents colon cancer. Prevents breast cancer by getting rid of some of the fatty tissue that could hold tumors. A big thing is that it can discard depression. So it improves your overall well-being. You feel more confident, you feel more lively. In a Duke study, doctors actually put patients who had been diagnosed as clinically depressed on an exercise program. After 4 months of consistently working out 3 times a week, these researchers went back and found a significant improvement in 45% of the people who had been previously diagnosed with major depression. Overall, there are a ton of benefits to exercising. You can't really afford not to get up and move your body. Overcoming these obstacles is as easy as getting your heart rate up and moving. Imagine the new you. Start staring back at you in the mirror. Not only are you rocking a hot body, but you're more confident. You've got a clean bill of health. The confidence that you have on the inside is radiating on the outside, and your overall mood is just elated. Now I'm going to ask you, as an audience, to create an exercise regimen over the next 2 weeks and record how you've changed emotionally and physically. And after all, a year from now, what will you have wished that you have started today?